Greetings from the Yukon. You're watching the IntenseAngler's Tip of the Week.
Hey there guys, John here, and before we proceed into this week's tip, I wanted to take just a second to thank my brother Rich over there at G Green Videos for throwing that awesome introduction together for us in those harsh conditions out there. Can't believe you went and did that, brother. Anyway, if you guys are not familiar with the infamous Bushman of the Yukon, definitely go check out his channel at the link up here or the link down below this video. Either one will take you right over to his channel. So getting into this week's tip, it was actually inspired by Rich's awesome introduction out there in those harsh winter conditions. And I could think of nothing better as I was watching that than a nice warm fire. And so I wanted to give you a tip on making a homemade fire starter, which is completely waterproof, has an extremely long burn time. We're talking well over 10 minutes here. And best of all, it's clean and packable. There's no messy petroleums or wax or anything like that to get all over the contents of your pack. So let's take a look at how to throw these together. Okay, so the first thing that you're going to want to do is get some water heating up on the stove here. And you're going to want to heat this on about a medium temperature setting and get the water going to about a simmer. Next, you're going to want some newspaper or an old phone book. Go ahead and take whatever paper that you'll be using. And in this instance, we're using the old phone book, of course. And you'll proceed to just tear this into strips. And go ahead and just place that in a container. Now the strips don't need to be too small here. We're going to be rendering this down a little bit. Once you have your newspaper shredded and your water simmering, go ahead and start placing the paper into the pot. Now you'll just want to let your paper simmer for a little while, adding water if necessary along the way. This step should take approximately 10 minutes or so. Once your paper has been simmering for a while, go ahead and just take 2 forks and start working the paper apart a little bit. This will help it render down into a pulp. Next comes the step of shaping it into whatever type of fire starter you want. From big briquettes like this to smaller size blocks, or my favorite, these little chips here. They just are really easy to store and pack. So let me show you how I do this here. Okay, now don't laugh at me here, but the way that I make these chips is to just take a good old standard bottle of Tabasco sauce and a little tea light candle with a bunch of holes poked in the bottom. What I do next is take some of your pulpy material here and fill up your tea light. Now, of course, the thickness that you're going to ultimately want your chips is going to determine how much paper you're going to put in here. And next, just go ahead and take your bottle and press it firmly down into the candle, compressing the paper and squeezing out the excess water. Next, you're just going to want to tap those chips out onto your pan. Now, just go ahead and repeat this process until you have the amount of chips that you want or you're out of paper. Now that you have all of your fire starters molded, you're going to want to set these out to dry. Now this process can be aided by setting them out in the sun or simply sticking them in your oven on a very low temperature setting. Of course, if you go that route, you're going to want to keep a very close eye on them. Once your fire starters have been completely dried out, you can proceed to the next step. You're going to want to take some wax and just get that melted. Once your wax is melted and your fire starters are completely dried out, the next step is going to be soaking them in there. And what I have is just some ones that I had previously dried. So we're going to toss these in the wax and let them become completely saturated for approximately 30 seconds to a minute. Next, go ahead and just remove the fire starters from the wax and set them on either a piece of tin foil or wax paper, whatever works best for you. After letting them dry for a few minutes, go ahead and just remove them off the paper and they're ready for storage, ready to go. Okay, so there you have it. Now your fire starters are finished and ready for use. Now, the great thing about these is they're perfect for damp, wet conditions, whether they're emergency survival items or just camping. Great way to start a fire by just simply breaking these apart and fluffing them up a little bit with your knife. They're easily ignitable with your flint striker or your fire steel, something like that. Of course, good old lighter works great too. So there you go. As you can see, even compacted like this without breaking it apart, it ignites easily, and like I said, that thing will burn for quite a while. Well, there you go, guys. A nice solid option for yet another good fire starter. I know there's a lot of them out there. I like this one myself in particular, just due to the fact that it is completely waterproof, very long burning, and is just very easy to pack. It does not cause a mess anywhere in the pack. I can toss this in the back pocket of my jeans if I want, and it's not going to cause a mess. So love this fire starter. And I did once again want to take just a second before we go here to say thanks Rich at Bushman of the Yukon for throwing that great introduction together for us. I also wanted to say thank you guys for all of your support. It has been truly appreciated. I cannot thank you enough. And until next time, we'll see you guys later.